Coffee is more than just a drink. It's a ritual, a comfort, a connection. For many of us, it's how we start the day, with a warm mug in hand and a moment of quiet before the world begins to spin. But have you ever wondered where your coffee actually comes from? Who grew it? What land it sprouted from? What journey it took to reach your cup? In this video, we'll take you deep into the heart of Brazil, the world's largest coffee producer. We'll explore how coffee became such a massive part of Brazil's identity and economy, how it's grown and harvested, and how it ends up fueling mornings all over the globe. We'll also look at the human stories behind each bean, the challenges faced by farmers, and the future of coffee in a changing world. So, whether you're a coffee lover, a curious mind, or just here to relax, settle in. Let's follow the journey of a single Brazilian coffee bean, from the red soil of the farm all the way to your cup. Brazil is the undisputed leader of the global coffee industry, producing more coffee than any other country in the world. In fact, nearly 1/3 of all the coffee consumed globally originates from Brazil. This isn't a recent development. Brazil's relationship with coffee goes back centuries. The story begins in the early 1700s, when Portuguese colonists introduced coffee plants to the country. At first, coffee was just another crop, modest in scale and largely consumed locally. But over the decades, as demand for coffee grew across Europe and the Americas, Brazil seized the opportunity. With its vast land, ideal growing conditions, and strategic location for trade, coffee cultivation rapidly expanded. By the 1800s, Brazil was already exporting large volumes, and by the early 1900s, it had firmly established itself as a global coffee superpower. What makes Brazil so perfectly suited to coffee production? It's a combination of several natural advantages. The country offers expansive stretches of fertile, mineral-rich soil, a warm tropical climate with plenty of sunshine, regular and predictable rainfall, and vast tracts of land that allow for both large-scale plantations and smallholder farms. These factors create the perfect environment not only for high-volume production, but also for cultivating a wide variety of beans. Different regions in Brazil bring different flavor profiles to the table. In Minas Gerais, the high altitudes produce beans with balanced acidity and rich aroma. In São Paulo and Espírito Santo, lower elevations yield beans known for their full body and chocolatey undertones. Today, Brazil produces both Arabica and Robusta beans, and increasingly, rare microlots that cater to specialty coffee markets. This diversity and scale make Brazil not only the largest coffee producer in the world, but also one of the most influential, shaping the taste of coffee worldwide, one bean at a time. Let's zoom in for a moment, away from the numbers and maps, and step onto a single Brazilian coffee farm. Picture the early morning light spreading across rows of coffee trees, their green leaves glistening with dew. The air is still cool as farmers begin their day, walking between the rows with practiced rhythm. Some pick ripe cherries by hand, carefully selecting only the best. Others use harvesting machines that gently strip the branches, collecting the fruit in bulk. Coffee farming in Brazil is more than just work, it's a way of life. For many, it's a tradition deeply rooted in family and heritage. Across the country, thousands of farms have been passed down through generations. Grandparents teach their grandchildren how to recognize a perfect cherry. Stories are shared in the fields, under the sun. There's pride in the craft, in the knowledge built over decades. But the life of a coffee farmer isn't easy. Each season brings uncertainty. Global coffee prices can swing dramatically, making it hard to plan ahead. Pests and plant diseases threaten crops, and shifting weather patterns, like droughts or sudden frosts, can devastate entire harvests. Despite these challenges, Brazilian farmers continue to fuel one of the world's most important industries. They are the invisible backbone of the global coffee supply chain. Without their dedication and hard work, the coffee that fills millions of cups every morning simply wouldn't exist. Fortunately, a growing number of farms are turning to sustainable practices. Farmers are using compost instead of chemical fertilizers. They're planting shade trees to protect the soil and preserve biodiversity. Some are investing in water-saving irrigation systems or reforesting nearby areas. These efforts not only help protect the environment, but often lead to better coffee, richer in flavor, more balanced in quality. At the intersection of tradition and innovation, Brazilian coffee farms continue to evolve, quietly shaping the taste and future of coffee around the world. How does a Brazilian coffee bean make its way from a remote hillside farm all the way to your local cafe, thousands of kilometers away? It's a journey that's both complex and fascinating, one that involves many hands, systems, and stories. It often begins with cooperatives, organized groups of small to medium-sized coffee farmers who pool their harvests. These cooperatives give farmers more bargaining power, better access to markets, and shared resources for things like storage, processing, and transportation. Once the beans are collected, they undergo meticulous sorting and grading. Beans are evaluated based on size, shape, moisture content, and quality. The goal is to ensure consistency and identify which beans are suitable for specialty markets and which will go into blends. From there, the beans are processed, either dried naturally in the sun or washed and fermented to enhance flavor. Once dried and hulled, they are packed into large sacks and transported to exporters. These companies are responsible for managing international sales, arranging quality control, certifications, and logistics. The beans are then shipped to importers around the world, often in massive shipping containers traveling across oceans. In the destination country, roasters take over. They craft roast profiles that bring out each bean's unique character, whether it's fruity, nutty, chocolatey, or floral. The roasted beans are then distributed to cafes, grocery stores, or directly to consumers. This entire supply chain is enormous, supporting millions of jobs worldwide, from field workers and truck drivers to port operators and baristas. And for Brazil, it's a major economic engine. The country earns more than $5 billion US annually through coffee exports, making it one of the largest agricultural export earners. But coffee is more than just business. It's a bridge. Through coffee, Brazil connects with cultures, communities, and consumers across the globe. It's a symbol of hospitality, creativity, and daily ritual. From rural farms to urban coffee shops, this humble bean tells a global story, and Brazil is at the heart of it. Brazil's coffee industry is vast and powerful, but it's not without serious challenges. Behind the rich aroma and smooth flavor of your morning cup lies a more complicated story, one that includes real social and environmental concerns. On the human side, many laborers on Brazilian coffee farms work long hours under tough conditions. Reports over the years have highlighted issues like low wages, lack of job security, and even instances of exploitation, particularly in remote or unregulated regions. While large farms and cooperatives may follow modern labor standards, smaller or isolated operations can fall through the cracks. That's why fair trade certifications and stronger labor protections are essential. They help ensure the people behind each harvest are treated with dignity, paid fairly, and offered safe working conditions. Then there's the environmental side. Decades of large-scale coffee farming have taken a toll, contributing to deforestation, ecosystem loss, and resource depletion. Climate change is now adding more pressure, with unpredictable weather patterns threatening future harvests. But change is underway, driven by growing awareness across the supply chain. International buyers are demanding traceability and ethical sourcing. Consumers are asking questions about where their coffee comes from. Certification programs and NGOs are pushing for accountability, while government and industry leaders are beginning to recognize that sustainability isn't just a trend, it's a necessity. The next generation of Brazilian coffee will need to balance productivity with responsibility. The goal is no longer just good coffee. It's coffee that respects people, preserves ecosystems, and ensures there's a future for farming in the decades to come. Brazilian coffee is more than just a beverage, it's a connection, linking distant farms to your morning ritual, connecting the hands that pick the cherries to the comfort you feel in each sip. From the red earth of Brazil's countryside to your favorite cafe, every bean carries a story. It's a journey of history, nature, hard work, and care, all brewed into one warm, familiar cup. So the next time you drink your coffee, pause for a moment. Think of the land it came from, the people who made it possible, and the global path it traveled to reach you. Thanks for spending time with us here on Quiet Lands. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who loves coffee too. Until next time, stay curious, stay grounded,